Coach, obviously, pretty massive win for you guys last week. I don't know, probably one of the bigger wins in program history. But I think probably what surprised most people about it is how thoroughly you dominated them. What was clicking for you guys?
It's kind of a perfect storm. Got out to a really hot start offensively, and we really fed off of that group. And from there, offense, defense, special teams really just meshed in the first half. We felt like we could have played a little bit better on defense, but the offense is rolling at such a high level that kind of just kept feeding off of them. So that was a big part of the beginning of the game.
Was that, I mean, obviously you guys don't expect to go in the main game and beat them by 30 points or whatever. So was that, I mean, halftime were you kind of like, wow, what was the reaction sort of as you guys were starting to sort of lay it on them? Were you guys shocked, or were you just like, oh yeah, we're good?
You know, I think it was more so we reflected back to the Upper Iowa game and not necessarily thinking about the moment at that point. So we talked a lot about what had happened against Upper Iowa where we let them back in the game. We felt like we could have separated ourselves. So we talked a lot about finishing off the third and the fourth quarter to put the game away, kind of the blood in the water type of idea, and we really got after it in the third and the fourth, so it was nice to be able to get it.
How important is it now to not get too high off of last week's win with, still a tough schedule here moving forward?
I think it's just, you hit it right on the head. It's one game. Right now, 2-0 means the worst we can do is 2-9. So that's one way to look at it. But we talked this week a lot about just the day-to-day operations of improving each day, putting the day behind from the previous day. So that's what we've been preaching to the guys, and we need to come back because Wayne reminds me a lot of us from last year. They've lost a couple games early where they thought they could have won, and now don't let them get hot against you and give them that confidence to hang around.
Now, obviously, with a score like 45-17, a lot of people on the outside might not think a lot went wrong. But what are and obviously there's still some things to fix. But what do you guys have to fix coming in here this week?
Defensively, we have to play better. We just didn't execute as well as we can. There was some communication. We had some tackling issues in the first two games, which I was disappointed with. But for the most part, I thought our secondary really played well. Last week, we didn't give up any big plays, home run plays. So we got some things to fix there. And then even on the offensive side, as good as we played in the first half, we felt we left 2, if not 3 scores hanging out there. So we really could have had a huge first half as it really looked at it. And then we had the turnover in the third quarter where we can clean up. And still penalties, we aggressive penalties, but still penalties that we got to work on. So those are some of the main areas that we've talked about.
You had a 20-point lead versus Upper Iowa, a 24-point lead. Second half, you opened up with a couple drives with 2 back sets. You recall on offense versus Upper Iowa. What was different, or was there something? Did you try a different approach in that third quarter versus Mankato?
No. We use 2 back sets a lot, and we have felt that, especially now that Mikey Washington's back in the realm and in the thick of things, we have 3 really good tailbacks. So we just went with the philosophy of trying to get him in the game more. Last week we tried to, and we went some 2-back stuff, and then Blake, really our tight ends and fullbacks as well. They're good players, so we've been working all those. So we just went with just a couple different personnel groupings over the different weeks, but I still think in my heart our best personnel group is probably with our receivers out there, and then we got to be able to change things up and still be able to go fast, and that's hard to do when you're changing personnels all the time. So sometimes we just say, hey, we start out with 2 backs, we'll stay in those 2-back sets for that drive.
How difficult is it to hold a lead these days? I mean, there's no huddles anymore, it seems like, to get them to actually slow down the pace that they're used to. It's got to be tough.
It is tough. It is tough, and that's where we understand on our side, defense, that we're going to take more reps, and then the offense, they practice a lot of 4-minute tempos where they are working the downs, working the chains. It's first downs instead of maybe more explosive plays, so to hang on to the ball more. So, but we had some long drives too. There were some 15-play drives and some 10-play drives. So that's the difference. I think instead of always looking at the total amount of time taken off, it's the amount of stress within the plays that you can get in that shorter amount of time. So I think that pays off in the long run.
Now looking ahead to this weekend, what do you think the biggest challenge is going to be, whether it's focusing on Wayne State or is it still focusing on making sure you guys just execute?
I've tried to just repetitively say is that we take care of stuff in-house day to day, then we'll be fine. It doesn't matter really. I've said that last week was we can go on the road and play whomever. If it was Mankato or if we're playing anybody, as long as we take care of what we're doing, we should be able to be in the game in the fourth quarter. And that's the important thing to look at, not to try to be overconfident, but if we execute, we take care of our stuff, we make in-game adjustments, we'll be okay and give ourselves a chance to win in every game.
Jordan, you guys are coming off a big win, probably, first one against a ranked team in 5 years. How important is it, though, that you guys kind of leave that to the past and move forward and win this week?
I think it's extremely important. Coach Bolte said on Sunday at our team meeting that, hey, we're celebrating Mankato, but right now we're done with that. We're on to Wayne State, so I think he got the message across to the team right away.
Sure. I mean, obviously you just talked about not wanting to go back, but obviously you guys, I think people thought maybe you had a chance to win that game. I don't know if people thought that you were going to win it as convincingly as you did on the scoreboard. It seemed like Coach Bolte was saying there was a lot of things you didn't do that you could have been even more dominant. I mean, maybe how does that carry over to next week? Like, what else do you need to do? I mean, 45-17 is a pretty good score. But what
Definitely.
else do you need to do to get even better?
Well, I know, offensive side of the ball, I missed some throws. So, that's one area of improvement. Our O-line played a great game, and receivers made a lot of plays, and running backs hitting the holes hard. But, there's always room for improvement. And I think just mentally, offensively, we messed up a couple things that we might have got away with. Yeah, it was a great, huge victory for us. And on the defense side of the ball, they've been saying they didn't tackle very well. So that's something, too, as well. So.
How important is it for you guys to kind of, not get too high off the last week's win?
I think it's very important because right now we got a target on our back, whether we like it or not. We knocked off the top team in the conference, so each week teams are going to be gunning for us now. So that's something we got to be mentally sharp each week and play our style of football.
Is that something? Obviously, you guys are ranked again for the first time in a while. Is that what you sort of think about being ranked? Like, that's cool. But does that sort of play back into that?
Yeah, it's cool to get noticed, but we know that. As you saw, we knocked off Cato 45-17, and they're still ranked higher than us in some polls. So that's just, I think, more for the media and the public, but we're just focused on each week and going 1-0 each week.
What's it going to take from you guys this week to bring out another victory?
I think starting out fast. That's kind of been the key to success for us this year. Getting points on the board early and getting off to fast-paced starts. And I think once we get rolling, it's tough for defenses to hang with us for 4 quarters, and so that's going to be a key component this week.
So you guys have been pretty balanced offensively, just running and throwing. Obviously, you've got a lot of receiver options. I think we've been talking about that a lot. But as far as like running backs, you guys, Jordan and Tahi, both been playing a lot, and it seems like they both do different things well. I don't know if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we what's even scary too is our third running back, Mikey Wash, is just as good as those two, and he was battling a wrist injury, but he's back and healthy now. But yeah, Tahi, he's our bruiser. He'll get our short yardage, our tough runs. Again, is a little more shifty. He's quick, catches the ball in the backfield real well. And Mikey, you guys haven't seen him play yet, but he's scary. He's slippery, shakes off tackles. So I'm excited to have our 3-headed monster back this week.
Well, it's almost kind of like 4-headed monster too with you. You can run when you need to too. So that's got to be something. Do you guys sort of plan for that? Like, hey, we've got 4 legitimate options. Sort of maybe can do some misdirection on some teams. Yeah,
definitely. Coach Bagnell, he's unreal. He schemes defenses up like better than I've ever seen in my life, and he knows that we got a lot of talent, especially at the running back position. And I can run the ball as well, but he always says, he's like, they're on scholarship to run the football, so he doesn't want me to run as often. But obviously when a play breaks down, I can scramble a little bit. But yeah, it's nice having 3 great running backs that we can give a lot of different looks out of.
I guess Wayne State, what do you got to do against them specifically? It seemed like they're a little, I mean, they're 0-2, but I think those are both pretty close games. They could be doing out.
Yeah, definitely. I just from watching the film, I mean, they're 0-2, but they very easily could have been a 2-0 team. I mean, they made a lot of mistakes. They had a lot of turnovers that hurt them, but they're going to be a good, tough football team coming into town. And I think we just got to play sharp, take care of the football, and go from there.
Mitch, obviously a big win. Asking the same question. I mean, I think people thought maybe coming into the game you guys had a shot to win. They didn't really expect it to be so lopsided, and especially for you guys defensively to shut them down. What was the key to that against a team like that on the road?
I think it's just the fact that we kept rolling. I think that when our offense came out and scored on their first drive, gave us a lot of confidence and just kind of put them down, and we just kept rolling at it, kept going.
Is being able to sort of bottle up a team like Mankato, I mean, does that give you guys a lot of confidence as a defense? Just, hey, if we can shut these guys down, pretty much we can hang with anybody?
Yeah, it definitely gave us a lot of confidence. It makes us know that we can play at a high ability and let us know that these things that we've been working for are real and they're reachable.
But how important is it now for you guys not to get too high off of last week's win?
It's very important. We need to make sure we're focused on Wayne. We're not focused on anyone else. And we needed to, live on it for a little bit on Sunday, and then after Monday came, it was all Wayne, and that's all we're focused on.
So really, it was a nice win for you guys, but now it's time to keep moving forward and keep going on because you guys got work. Or you got something to prove.
Yep, we do have something to prove. Like, that was one game. There's 11 in the season, and we got to keep making sure we're looking forward and moving on.
Bolte was saying, even as much as you guys played well as a defense against them, he was saying a lot of things you did wrong. Obviously, you're never going to be perfect, but what specifically can you take from that you maybe didn't do right against a team like Wayne?
Well, we played really hard, and that was one thing that kind of led to the victory, but we need to tighten down on our alignments and our assignments and make sure everyone's in the right spot and that we still play hard, but when we're in the right spot, now our defense is even better and we're more dominant than what we are.
They seem like a pretty balanced team too. Are they similar offensively to you guys maybe, just what they're trying to do? Or
I'd say they're kind of similar to how kind of Mankato was. They want to run the ball. They want to use a tight end. They kind of want to get after you. And they're like our offense also. They'll throw a deep ball, and they'll try to get you off your toes. And, yeah.
As a defense, the way you guys were able to keep Mankato's running game kind of maintain there, how much does that really play into your guys' confidence here moving forward? Because they were supposed to be the best running team in the conference.
It shows that our confidence is, we're building more and more. But we kind of have the confidence as a defense, too, that the run game is our strength and that when we should be able to stop people's run. And I don't know, it showed us that we had confidence, but there were times as well where we need to tackle better and we need to be in the right spot, and we can do a lot better than what we even did.
all right, Tahi, obviously big win for you guys last week. Is it something that obviously you guys go down there expecting to hang with them, and I think people expected that you could have won. People probably didn't expect you to win as big as you won. So what was the feeling afterwards, after you guys were able to pull out that upset?
Man, yeah, it was a good team win. We walked into hostile territory, everybody was chirping, everybody was, but yeah, we played our style of football, went down there and just handled business. Yeah, it's a pretty good feeling.
It seemed like, obviously, offensively, you're able to get off to a quick start, kind of like Upper Iowa game.
Yep.
It seems like, unlike Upper Iowa, you guys were able to keep the pressure on third, fourth quarter. Didn't really let them get back in the game. What was the difference this time?
Well, our defense just played outstanding. First game, we let up a couple points, but I think our defense really did a great job of clamping them down and not letting them breathe. So.
It seems like offensively you're able to maybe move the ball, have a little more possession time, and sort of keep their offense off the board too. I don't know if that was something you guys noticed, or.
Yeah, we noticed it. Big things for us was getting more first downs and trying to keep the turnover ratio. So.
Now, the way you guys were able to jump out on them so early and so often, how does that really play into your guys' confidence here moving forward?
Well, our team feels like we can hang with anybody in this league. We just got to play our style of football, which is quick tempo, on the ball fast, and make them guess. So.
Now, you guys, obviously, we knew you guys would score a lot, but through 2 games, you guys are averaging over 40 points a game.
Yeah.
What's that kind of say about this offense and this group that you guys are able to do that?
Very dangerous offense. Quick hitters. We have talented receivers, talented O-line, talented group of backs. So our offense is pretty deadly when we're rolling.
And then how important is it for you guys to kind of not get too high off of last week's win, though? I mean, you still got 9 games left.
Well, one of my old former high school coaches told me that you only have 24 hours to favor a victory. So we're happy we beat Cato, but we're on to win. We can't sleep on them. They're still a pretty good football team. So.
I was going to ask you, you were talking about having so many offensive weapons, and I feel like the passing game, people have talked about that a lot, but I was going to ask you about the running game. You guys have so many different options. It seems like you guys are sort of quietly in the backfield putting up some numbers, and you're able to be really dangerous. So what is it about what you and Genna and Jordan bring to the table that
man, I guess people say it's a thunder and lightning combination. It all depends who the team needs. I mean, when the team needs me to make a play, when the team needs Genna to make a play, when the team needs Jordan to make a play. So. Are
you thunder or lightning?
I would like to say I'm a little bit of both.
It seems like you're more. I mean, I was just looking at stats. You got 4 touchdowns. I feel like most of those guys are in the red zone.
Yep.
And it seems like he's getting a lot of big plays.
Yep.
I know he's got a lot of receiving yards too. And obviously Jordy can run when he needs to. And he was talking about Washington's coming back. So
yep.
Like what do you guys each bring to the table, I guess?
Well, I mean, we all have a different style of running. Genna's the more shiftier. Well, Genna and Mikey are the more shiftier type of guys, you know, the quick feet, quick cuts. I'm more of the power back, I would say, more balanced type of runner, you know, so that's what I bring to the table.
Well, what does it do for you guys to have a guy like Jordan who can also run if he needs to, if you guys have maybe a broken play or something? I've seen him do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to have a quarterback like Jordan Hein. I mean, he's very mobile. It's hard for defenses to keep him in the passing, so it's awesome.
I think just guys against Wayne, what do you guys have to do? Like, what have you seen from that on tape that looks dangerous, I guess?
Well, they do a lot of twists up front. They have pretty big backers, so our guys are going to have to get really physical this week. They're a pretty decent football team. I just think that we just can't go out there having high hopes that we just beat Cato. So, yeah.